Hello again. It's me, David. You probably remember me from that crazy trip that I went on with my sister Emma. It was quite an emotionally scarring trip. I developed PTSD from it. Despite this, my whole view of reality had changed dramatically. There was magic. Real life magic. However, the process to get magic had almost killed my sister while we were stranded on our trip. It had been 3 years since that momentous trip. Emma had promised me to teach me the safer way of gaining my own unique piece of music, but she disappeared with only a small note before I could get the training. She explained that she had received a message that she needed to go somewhere. I'm not sure where. It has been years since I saw her last. Since this time, however, my life has been great. I found a beautiful woman and married her about a year and a half ago. Her name is Autumn. She has beautiful hair, and her personality is an easy catch. And no, I'm not being forced to say these things about her. Don't worry, Autumn, I just can't stop talking about how much I love you. We also had a daughter about 6 months ago. We named her Aura, after Autumn's grandmother. She was a cute little girl, and when she was born, my whole life changed. I felt a deep sense of duty, of love. Whenever I first held her, I started to tear up. I promised to love her forever, and that I would do anything for her. I began to fulfill that goal later that week whenever I got hired for my first real job. I had worked minimum wage jobs before, but now this was a career job. I was now a full mechanical engineer. I was hired to help in designing this new air conditioner for my company. I was hired on a pretty low pay, but honestly average for someone just starting out his career. I wasn't the only one who had a career headed before them. Autumn loved writing fantasy short stories and dreamed about making this her career. She would work on these stories, writing often dozens upon dozens of them. I loved every single one, but for some reason no publisher would take it. Despite this, she got invited to this women's writing conference. Autumn was super excited. She hoped that she could share one of her stories and maybe find the right person to publish her work. When she told me about the conference, I was excited too. However, my first concern was about her and Aura. Autumn tried to assure that she would be fine and that she can just take Aura and be just fine. I disagreed and went to my company for a 4-day break to go with her. Although Autumn at first didn't like that I did this, but later said that she appreciated my care for her. We flew north to Portland, where the conference was being held. Apparently, one of the organizers of the event read Autumn's work and loved it. Autumn was being asked to participate in a panel to answer common questions about writing short stories. I feel like I should be the one asking the questions, Autumn jokingly remarked when she heard what she was being invited for. Once we landed in Portland, we drove to a hotel where the event was held. For the first day, there was a bunch of speeches where some more famous writers talked about their experience as well as encouraged fellow writers to have more confidence. Now here's the part where I have to share my personal feelings. See, I love my wife. I love how much she loves this whole thing. Despite this, I cannot find myself interested at all to what the speakers are saying. Blame my engineering mind. I would much rather talk about designing machines than about people's personal experiences. They were basically all the same story. I tried to hide this though because I didn't want to bring Autumn down. This was her time to shine. Plus, she didn't request for me to come. I did that on my own volition. And so I attended every speech and tried my very best to not seem bored. That was day 1. We found another hotel and slept our night there. The next day was the day where Autumn got to be on the panel. She got so excited, she woke up at about 5 a.m. and couldn't fall back asleep. We didn't need to wake up until about 7 to be there at 9. At 9, we found our way to the building, and Autumn found her way to the panel stage. I had Aura in my arms with some food and other things in case she needed anything. I smiled so big that when they went through the speaker's name and they said my wife's. She smiled too, although a bit shy. She sat on the edge of the panel, probably because she is not a big name author. Well, yet. For a while, Autumn didn't get any questions. There were 2 or 3 people who answered most of the questions. I began to get worried that she wouldn't be able to answer any question. Luckily, she was able to finally get a question. The question was about how you can get past writer's block. I figured that the that writer's block meant the feeling of lack of motivation that a writer may feel when they are trying to write a story. Or at least that's what I think it is. I could be wrong. Thank you so much for your question, said Autumn. Writer's block is a problem that we all face. So don't worry, you're not the only person to experience this. I've struggled a lot with it too. But I'll tell you what has helped me, and I hope it can help you too. So, what has helped me is honestly to just keep writing. Sometimes I just need to write down something random to get the creative juices flowing. Then after I finished whatever I wanted to write, I can go back to those random things I wrote down, and I can flesh them out to become full stories. Honestly, that's how I've written now over 25 separate short stories. Anyways, I hope that helps. I wasn't sure if it was a good response, but it seemed like a good response. I was proud of her in either way. The next person came up and asked the next question. Hi, I'm someone who, whenever I think about something to write about, I go all into it. For example, for the past 3 years, I've worked on the same story. However, I've just finished it, and I want to write something else. However, I'm struggling to find something new to write about. How do you find inspiration when you want to write a new story? The moderator thanked the questioner and directed the question to Autumn. 2 questions in a row. I sat up, excited to hear what she had to say. However, as I did that, Aura let out the largest, fart I had ever heard. It was scarily loud. I looked down. It was bad. Poop had gone through the diaper and up her back. It smelled terrible. As much as I wanted to hear Autumn, I knew I had to clean this up first. Plus, if this is her last question, that I can still say that I heard one of them. Aura looked happy, almost looking accomplished. I walked out of the room, the bag with everything that Autumn said that I needed in it. I walked out to the bathroom, but I got worried whether we had an extra pair of clothes packed for Aura. I put her down on this windowsill that overlooked the parking lot of the hotel. We were a few stories high. I opened the bag, hoping to find some clothing. While I was searching for the clothes, a huge gust of wind burst through the hallway. I was confused. Where did that come from? I looked over to Aura, hoping she was safe. She was gone. I did a double look, hoping that I was missing something. Instead of where she was, there was a paper falling down to where I put her. I grabbed the paper. It was a letter. I began to read it, fear beginning to course through my veins. Dear Emma, we have taken your niece. She has what we need. You know what we want. If you want your niece back, you know what you must give. Meet us at Mount St. Helens. Sincerely, the leader of the souls of the wind, Shar Khaligi.